Hi guys, it's Jamey Blewitt here from JB Military Antiques. Today we're going to talk about the 24th of March military auction that we're holding. It's our first auction for 2024 and we've got some great stuff to show you today. So we've got 400 plus lots in the auction. You can visit the website www.jbmilitaryantiques.com.au, go to the auction section of the website and you can find the digital catalogue for Invaluable, which will show you all the photos, all the descriptions and details about estimates on that website, or you can look at the old-fashioned PDF catalogue and you can even download that catalogue for the auction this coming Sunday. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to look at the cabinets and see what we've got in there. We've got some great stuff this auction. We've got some great Napoleonic war stuff. We've got some West Australian themed guns and knives and swords from the George Trotter collection. We've got the part one of the Jeff Smith collection, who specialise in bayonets and guns. And we've got a lot of other vendors who put stuff into our auction. So let's start out today. We'll look at this cabinet here. We'll look at some of the flags and equipment, and there's some coins and two of the German concentration camp counterfeit English pounds that were made to try and flood the British economy with fake currency during World War II. So we've got some flags, we've got award documents with medals to French soldiers, and we've got some an array of Imperial German medals and some American medals. And moving on to the next cabinet, we've got our grenades. So we've got a nice grenade collection, an ordnance collection that's come our way from a vendor. And you've got your typical Mills bombs and mortars. We've got a nice little PAP round in there, as well as your worldwide ordnance and grenades. So for those of you in Australia, we can post these out no problem. If you're overseas, you'll need to organise a courier to organise the posting of your guns and ordnance. And we're happy to organise details of the courier for you if you need that to happen for you. And moving on, we've got a nice array of daggers and knives. We've got some tribal Indian knives and daggers, as well as your European World War II era pieces, as well as American and Australian fighting knives, and a nice small little collection of British Fairbairn Sykes knives as well. We've got our standard bayonets in this auction from the Jeff Smith collection. Jeff has collected for about 50 years, and this is part one of his collection that he's going to be selling through our auction. So most of these pieces that you see in this auction right across the board have been in long-standing collections and probably haven't seen the light of day for decades. Moving on, we've got our black powder pistols, and we've got a nice blunderbuss in there with the flick socket bayonet, as well as a lot of 19th century bayonets. Some of these pieces are in great condition. Consult the catalogue. You'll find all the details in the catalogue of those pieces. And one of our long-term friends, George Trotter, a local collector and historian. George is specialised in West Australian militaria and Japanese swords, and George has decided to start selling his collection. Those of you who are in Western Australia or in Australia, you've probably seen his book, Guide to Small Arms in Western Australia. And many of the pieces that we're going to be selling this year in our auctions from George's collection are contained in George's book. And George is one of those guys that you can ask him any question about a bayonet with a West Australian marking, and dear old George will be able to tell you who the guy was and what he ate for breakfast. That's how good George is. And we're really pleased to have his items with us and making them available to you, the general public. And you can just see here a part one of George's collection. And it's just the swords and part of the bayonets that he's collected over the years. Many of these we've never seen before with these markings. And it's your one and only chance to get your hands onto some truly genuine West Australian related pieces. A lot of these items have come from farms and come from storerooms. We're talking about items that have come out of his collection that he's collected for up to 50 years. And when you think, well, you're amassing 50 years, a lot of people just collect lots of things. George collected specific items only to do with West Australia. So that is what's coming up as part one of the collection. We've also got a series of Napoleonic era swords ranging all the way through to the First and the Second World War. Obviously, many of them British, including a really nice late 19th century Sandhurst Sword of Honour. That's attributed to one of the British generals in our auction. It's the only sword of honour, attributed sword I've ever seen. So that we really expect a lot of interest in that one. And given the provenance, it's one of those pieces, if you're a sword collector, it's the sort of thing you'll want to have in your auction. Moving on to the black powder and the deactivated weapons. We've got these in our auction as well as a nice little collection of flare guns. And in West Australia now, you don't need a license to buy these. They're still operable. But again, if you need licenses for these sorts of things, or you need any special help from us, please do get in touch. And we look forward to helping you with those pieces outside of the auction. Okay, so once again, if you're buying these things from us, from the auction, if you're in Australia, there should be no problem in sending these things to you. But if you are overseas, Ordnance and Firearms, we will ask you to contact a local courier to organise the shipping of those things for you. We just don't want to get involved in the paperwork and all the other things that you need to do. We leave that to the buyer and the courier to organise themselves if you're overseas. So just bear that in mind. And if you need any help, we can give you a list of those couriers that could be able to help you. And moving on, we have a good Napoleonic War relics section. Most of these pieces were picked up at Waterloo, and this is the last part of that collection that we're selling on behalf of the vendor, including cannonballs, buttons and spurs and things like that were picked up over the last sort of 50 or 60 years at the battlefield. And we'll end our look today at the metal section of the auction. We've got a dear old vendor who's put a lot of medals, Australian, British and Commonwealth medals, into the auction, many with West Australian links to them. These are from a collection that have been amassed over about 50 years. So a lot of these pieces you have never ever seen. We've certainly never seen. We can't find any auction catalogues that host these things from the last 20 or 30 years. So we're really pleased to bring these fresh pieces to the market. So you can be pretty much safe to say that most of these pieces were bought either at source, from the veteran, from the widow, or from an auction house 40 or 50 years ago. So whereas we come across a lot of metal sets that were sold sort of 10, 5, 2 years ago, these pieces are fresh to the market. And, you know, we're talking about groups that includes Sydney, Emden Actions. We've got Yangtze Incident Medal groups there. We've got Military Cross groups, Distinguished Service Cross, Distinguished Service Order groups. And obviously we've got our fantastic Gold Cross and Small Army Gold Medal to General Bingham, who was military governor of St. Helena when Napoleon Bonaparte was on the island. So look, there's something for everyone. It's a good, strong auction, this one. Most of this stuff hasn't seen the light of day for many years. And we look forward to speaking with you guys. We look forward to seeing you at the auction, seeing you online. If you've got any questions in the meantime, please feel free to get in touch with us. You can find us at www.jbmilitaryantiques.com.au. Like our YouTube page. We love bringing you these details. We really love talking about this stuff as well. And we look forward to selling you these items Sunday, March 24th. Thanks very much.